Hi, everyone. Welcome to another, what are we going to call it? We still don't have a name for this. To a nice weekly garden chat. How's that?
Yeah.
Welcome to Steve from digwellgreenfingers and Robin from Robin Gardens.
Hi.
And hello to everyone in the chat. I see Andrew and Chris and Jean.
John.
Is that somebody's got, is it me?
That has
Okay.
a what?
I'm sorry, it was echo. I did the one thing I always tell everyone to do is turn off the actual feed from Facebook,
Yeah, I just
and
done
I
it.
had it on. Okay, so I just sounded a little crazy there. Hi Siggy, hi Jason and Andrew and Pauline, and I saw Mel way back up front. Don't want to forget Mel. Always good to have you here, and Trude.
Hi,
So
Gibby.
good to see
Yeah.
you
Hi,
all.
everybody. Yeah.
So, is everybody having wonderful weather right now? We were just talking about Robin and I are both here in the Midwest in the States, and it's like this is like October, early October weather. So we are actually having a fall. That's how I feel. Like we're actually like we could still be gardening right now.
Well, it's really, really bright sunshine today. So I was hoping to get some nice photographs of the woods above my allotment, but the mist never cleared from the trees. So I wanted to
Oh,
get the browns and the reds and the greens, but there's
oh
nothing,
yeah.
just a grey band across the hill,
Yeah, no, it's beautiful today. So I still have peas out in my garden that are really I'm gonna get some. So I'm thinking I thought I was insane planting them so late, but who knew we were gonna have this kind of end of the year?
Well, it's crazy. I've just been at the front garden, well, half an hour before it got dark, and I've still got 3 aubergine plants, 3 eggplants to pick, and
Oh,
they're right.
wow.
They're bright purple, so I'm picking those tomorrow.
No.
Yeah,
Wow.
and outdoors, been outdoors the whole life. It's
Yeah, I guess I could have left mine. I pulled mine a long time ago.
yeah.
Guess I could have left them in and see what they would have done.
Some
Yeah,
more aubergine dishes coming.
my fennel's still out there. I'm just letting it
Yeah,
go for a bit
and
and
at the
see.
allotment today, I was taking some photographs for another program I go on, and my runner beans are in flower. They flowered again. November,
It's
middle of November.
That's
so
crazy.
many
Yeah,
things are flowering over again. My roses are my blueberries are flowering.
yeah.
It's
Oh,
kind
Yeah.
of crazy.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to start putting things to bed when things are still green out.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like right around the corner. It's going to nip us, and then you were out doing it in the freezing cold weather. So what is the standard way that you tuck your beds in for winter?
Go
Or
on, Robin. I'll let you go first with this one.
Okay, so I had 3.5 yards of certified organic leaf mold compost delivered, and I was smart this year. I hired the little neighbor guy to help me out,
there you go.
save the back. But I'm trying something different. I'm trying alfalfa pellets. So I spread alfalfa pellets first underneath the compost, and it adds nitrogen, it adds trace minerals, and something called tricontinol, which is a growth promoter. It acts together with the hormones and amps up the chlorophyll in the leaves of the plant so they get larger, stronger. So, something different. I'm trying something different.
Yeah. I don't normally put my plot to bed as such. I just let what's there die off, crop and chop or crop and drop or chop and drop, just let it lie where it is. And
Uh-huh.
then if it's growing like the sprouts and the purple sprouting broccoli and the overwintering onions, and I just leave them. I don't really plant much to grow over winter, but my beds aren't necessarily barren. You
Right.
know, there's things there because I don't do monoculture, I do polyculture. So if I've got cabbages here, I've got something else here on the same bed or interplanted. So there's no sort of big bit of bare brown. But this year there will be because I'm revamping everything yet again. So the straw bales were so good, I'm getting more straw bales and that sort of thing.
I was going to ask you, how
Yeah.
do you overwinter those, or do you start over?
The bales, I went up there today thinking, will I get away with a second year? And I can't really picture a straw bale. If that's the two sides, then the middle is like that. They have
Oh,
totally sunk. So a bale is what? 18 inches high, maybe?
yeah.
The center is now less than 12 inches high, 9 inches high. They've totally collapsed inside.
Okay.
And I grabbed a handful, and it is the best, richest compost you've ever seen. It's incredible. It really is.
Oh, wow.
I'm over the moon. I'm chuffed to bits with it. So my plans in the next couple of weeks, or maybe wait till February, I'm not really sure yet. I'll be breaking them all up and spreading them around the other beds, mulching and not digging in because I'm no digs, just leaving it on top and letting the worms do their thing. I don't want to put it out too soon because I don't want to lose any nutrients to heavy rains.
Right.
You know, I mean, we get heavy rains. I got a wood chip center path down the middle. We had heavy rain the other day, and the wood chip, you wouldn't believe it. It looks like sand on a beach with ripples. There's wood chip, mud, wood chip, mud, wood chip, but it's all washed down in waves. So I'm thinking, well,
Wow.
if I do my beds,
Yeah.
will I lose too many of the nutrients to where I don't want it? I want it on the beds, not on the path next to the beds. Does that
Right.
make sense? You know.
Absolutely.
So even
So-
though I grow over winter, but I'm not really planting a lot extra this year.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Now, do you do green manures at all?
I did last year. I'm not going to do it again because, like I said, no dig and it's just too awkward. I
Okay.
can't dig it in. What I did last year, I chop and drop, and just left
Mhm.
it where it lay. I don't think it did anything useful for me.
Okay.
I used that Caliente mustard. It's
Oh,
supposed
you
to
did.
fumigate, but you've got to dig it in. That's the problem.
So
So
I
yeah,
got it, Steve, after we talked the
yeah,
last
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I'm set to go to fumigate mine, but I also bought some, while you're talking about cover crops, I got some red clover.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna just so I have it on hand. That was my problem. I ended up with the melon bed being open and nothing really to put in, and I could have cover cropped. So
Yeah.
now I've got something, in my pocket.
Something to outcompete the weeds over winter. That's what it is.
Now, if you plant that right now, Robin, that won't that won't grow right now, will it?
No, so it's
Yeah.
just now it's just in my arsenal. As long as I was ordering the Caliente, mustard. I
Sure.
had to order it from a new place. So of course I had to play because I was on a new purveyor's site, right?
Yeah.
So the last time we were all together, you talked about stevia. So I got some stevia seeds and we talked about winter savory. So I also got
Lovely.
winter savory seeds as well.
Yeah. You
But
need to.
man,
Sorry.
those stevia
Be careful
seeds
with
are
the red
dear.
clover. Sorry. Say it again. Sorry.
The stevia seeds are dear. They were expensive
Yeah.
for what I
Sweet.
got.
You need to be
I
careful
buy
with the red
plants.
clover because it's a brassica. So you don't want to be planting cabbages in that bed for a couple of years. If you're a rotational cropper, clover is one of your brassica years. So you need to be a bit careful with that.
Do the butterflies go for it?
Oh
They
yeah,
do?
yeah. Very
Because
good.
I've never seen them in the yard, and my yard is
Yeah.
full of, common clover.
Yeah. Well, maybe not just butterflies, but certainly wasps and bees. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
that brings us on to a comment that Troll put down. Do you get pollinators in the winter? The majority of the crops that grow into the winter don't really need pollinating. I mean, the runner beans, they're a perfect flower anyway. They don't need pollinating; they pollinate themselves. So, not really. The only ones I've got that need pollinating would be squashes and cucurbits, the big flowers. The
Yeah.
majority of mine don't need it. Peas don't need it, and broad beans don't need it.
Yeah. What do you do, Audrey, to put your beds to sleep?
Well, this year I'm going to try putting on some cover. I don't usually cover my beds. I just kind of let them do their thing, and then I worry about it in the spring. Because, like you, Steve, I don't want it all to wash away. But I know there's some value in putting compost on now, and so the worms can do their thing. But I find if I do it in the spring, I get better results.
That's what I was getting at, Audrey,
Yeah.
because the worms aren't stupid. They think, my word, it's -2 degrees. I'm going
Right.
foot down.
Right.
I'm not eating your cold compost,
Right. Right. So this year, I usually take all of my asparagus fronds once they're dead, and I just take those and lay those on some of the like my back 40. I call it the back 40. It's not 40, but and I just strew those all over there just to give the ground something on top of it. But I don't usually do a whole lot of adding. Okay, like I grew beans in one area this year, and I think next year I'll grow my my lettuce crop there and see if I get value from it being more nitrogen rich. So, but if not, I'm more of a add things if I need to, like at the time.
Okay.
So I kind of start planning for next year right now. That's where my mind goes rather than tucking it all in. I kind of dream about, okay, what are we going to do next year, and what structural things has to be taken care of now so that next year will be wonderful. Like I've got Kevin, the husband, working on a structure for the blackberries because he always loves a woodworking project. So I'm like, dude, we planted the blackberries, and I said that's how far apart I need these. I need that arch to go. So that's kind of my winter process.
So I
Like,
was
is it
worried.
much of a process?
So I was worried about that too, because I was worried that it would, it would leach too far down and, the plants wouldn't be able to get it. But I've been doing this for several years now, and it really, really works. And then spring, that manic phase of spring is so much easier because
Yeah.
it's already put to bed.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
I've been corrected, guys. It's a legume, not a brassica. I'm thinking of something else. The red clover. I'm thinking of
Okay.
something else. I can't remember what it is now, but I'll get back to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a nitrogen fixer.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's only a
That's why.
nitrogen fixer if it doesn't seed. If it seeds, it doesn't fix nitrogen.
Okay.
What a legume does, it stores the nitrogen in those nodules at the roots until it needs it for making seeds. So if you kill it before it's made the seeds, the nitrogen stays there. If they make seeds like beans, runner beans, whatever, that nitrogen is used up to make the fruit.
When I pulled out my peas this year, it was crazy. Some of them had just like profuse nitrogen nozzles and nodules on them.
Yeah, you can get that from overfeeding the soil. But in general, we haven't, none of us have got it, but the perfect soil, a legume will fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere and then take it back up to make it seeds or fruit, whatever they call it.
The only time I ran into it was this year, with it overdoing it, because last year, remember I did the Sweetabega challenge. You did it too, Steve. And I mean, I fed that bad. I had those Kalettes in there too. And I mean, it got fed well. And this year, those kohlrabi, they would do nothing but make leaves. Huge, big, massive leaves. It would never ball.
But great if it was a cabbage there, but not a kohlrabi.
Well, the kale did fine, but the kohlrabi, it just suffered.
Kale, devil's food, I can't, no. I still can't get into it. I've tried again. I cannot like kale. I must be one of those ones I've said before, like the coriander. You know, I just can't. I can't stomach it. It just the
Did you
taste to
ever
me is the
did you ever
taste to
make
me
it
is
into chips?
sorry.
You ever make it into chips, little
No, I've
crisps?
done I can use it as crispy Chinese seaweed,
Okay.
and that's okay. So maybe the crisps will work. Yeah,
Oh,
but
man, if I
it's
make a
one thing
batch
I'm
of
going to write
that,
it
we
down
call
again. So
it,
I wrote it down
Well,
last week.
have you ever let your kale get frosted?
yeah.
Mm,
If you let it go stay in the cold, it does get sweeter.
well,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm not one for changing my mind more than once a day, like you know. But I did say I was. I'm not going to do garlic again, but I'm doing garlic again because I've got the second plot now. So maybe in an effort to fill the second plot, I may be persuaded to grow kale again. You know. So I'm not in battle. Yeah, okay, I'll grow kale again. Yeah, yeah,
I'm just saying, I don't know. And you cook a
yeah.
lot, so I'm thinking you can put that in a lot of things and it's very good. Like,
It's
Yes.
I think part of the problem is, I mean, Jason, a lot of the dead saying try kale crisps as well. Look, a lot of the problem probably was I've used it as a green vegetable like cabbage or spinach. I've not
Okay.
added it to something else like whatever, you know. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to have
so
to fill the plot up because
I'm sorry,
sorry,
go ahead.
the new plot is twice the size of my old plot. So in
Uh-huh.
effect, next year I've got three plots, if you like, you know. And
Okay.
I was growing plenty enough for myself on the one little one,
Yeah.
and I've taken on this other one. So yeah,
Well, the kale chips, Al and I call them kale crack
Oh
because
yeah.
I mean, I make a batch of it and they're gone.
Oh yeah.
They are gone.
Yeah.
okay. I've written it down, so I will try it again.
I'm gonna try to freeze dry some of it and see if that
Oh.
also works as a kale chip.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Have you got
Um,
a proper freeze dryer then?
I
Or,
do.
mm,
It's so cool. It
yeah.
is so cool. I highly recommend.
Wish I could
Oh.
afford one.
I know. I feel very dandy having one.
Mm,
But oh my gosh, it's like the
yeah,
best thing.
Yeah, you
I
got
do.
me looking at them.
Yeah, I do a lot of dehydrating, but yeah.
Yeah. My kitchen right now looks like an industrial kitchen. I got the dehydrator going. I've got the freeze dryer going. We're canning some things, so the pots are out. Yeah, it looks crazy, but it'll be a lovely winter.
Taking notes like mad today. Troll said try this purple kale, so we'll look at that one as well.
Yeah, I
Oh,
grew my
yeah.
scarlet kale. It is deep purple right now. It is so beautiful. So I'm letting it just get, you know,
Yeah.
happy with that cold, and the color just, oh my gosh. And I'm one of those weirdos who likes to eat kale like in a salad.
Me
So
too.
I just like it. It's a little bitter. And so you don't like radicchio either, then, do
No,
you?
no,
See, I
no.
like a little
I
bitter.
don't mind. And maybe it would work in a salad. So again, it's one of those ones I don't mind a little bit in a salad as a surprise, but
Yeah.
I don't want a whole big load of it.
Okay.
You know,
So you won't do chickpeas with kale as a salad.
probably not. No, 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 no.
I
You
I'd
know,
get,
have
the
to.
other thing is to take that kale and make it a
yeah,
chiffonade, the long skinny, and then put it in whatever stir fry you're making,
yeah,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it's a great compliment.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Right. Enough of kale before I start being ill. No, I'll give it a go. I will give it a go, guys. I promise.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. We're now getting everybody's maybe going to try kale next year who haven't.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of good suggestions going in the.
Yeah, there are.
So the
Um,
other thing I've done is I've put my plants in the garage. I've started that process, my overwintering process, which is always a huge deal, cutting them back and, getting them set to go for the winter. I've done my tuberous begonias, which our wet August killed off 50% of mine. But the ones that are left are healthy looking. And then I'm waiting on the dahlias because I was told wait for the leaves to die back before you pull them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I grew
Well,
some from seed this year, and I wasn't really impressed with the flowers. But
Okay.
when I pulled them out, the size of the tubers were ridiculous.
Did
I
you
thought
save them?
I did not.
Ah,
And here's why. I don't think I want to be digging up. It's hard enough to get everything in the ground. I
uh-huh.
just don't know if I want to have to worry about digging them up. And then I saw someone, you know how you're supposed to put them in like a moist sawdust or something to store them over winter? Uh, she just wrapped them into saran wrap. So
Mm.
that would be more doable to me
mm.
than having to have this, moist area for
Would
them.
that work though? Because all right, they'll sweat, but the sweat's got nowhere to go. With straw or sand or something like that, it's still breathing, but it's
Yeah, I
maintaining the moisture.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Last
So
year I just put them in a bag, and I had just 50% survival. So we'll see this year. I think I'll put some peat moss in there, and then, spritz it every now and then.
Mm.
yeah, but I was shocked how big the tubers were after just 1 year. So we'll see. I'm not a believer yet. I think had the flowers been more spectacular, I might have been tempted, but
Yeah.
they were kind of. I think a zinnia made a prettier flower.
It's
So
something I need to get into a bit, is doing more flowers. I do loads of veg that flower, but I don't do any flowers that do veg. Does that make sense, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, nasturtium's probably my best one at that. I love nasturtiums. I just picked some today, actually. Had a quick nibble lunchtime. They're still flowering at the front garden, flowering on the allotment.
Mm.
And
I
as
bet
you
if
know,
I had an 8 out there, they'd be flowering right now.
every part of the nasturtium's edible, as you know. So, I mean, I made
Yeah, now they're a little too bitter for me. I
Oh,
don't
I
mind.
like
peppery, very peppery,
peppery. Yeah.
peppery. And the seeds make a great substitute for capers. The seeds,
That's
yeah,
what I've heard. Poor
yeah,
man's capers, I think, is what they call them, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Pickled,
Yeah.
yeah, pickled. Have you ever pickled those, Robin?
I have not. I thought you were going to try it this year. You didn't end up getting enough?
None of my nasturtiums got that far.
Yeah.
I lost a few to aphids and a few to other things, and they were so disgusting. I wasn't going to take one thing off of it. I don't like when they
Yeah.
just get infested like that. I
No,
can't just rinse them.
I tend to find that some nasturtiums, they're just black with black fly, and
Yes.
the one next
Mhm.
to it is totally untouched. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Right.
Maybe there's a slightly different chemical in the leaf or something.
It's
Yeah,
it's it's the
yeah,
best trap crop, that and
yeah.
calendulas.
Yeah.
So I'm like a little kid right now. Every fall, I have to go out there like every day and put my thermometer in and see where my compost is. I had it up into the hot. I had it so hot I had to cool it down.
Alexa,
It it
what
is
is
going.
110 Fahrenheit in Celsius?
110
Uh,
degrees Fahrenheit
well,
is 43
mine has the
Celsius.
composting for dummies. It's the hot, the ideal, and the too cool. So I have
Yeah.
to keep it in the ideal
Now, do
range.
you keep that going all winter?
Well, as it gets cold, it won't compost, but
Right.
in the spring it'll pick right back
Back
up.
up.
But
Yeah.
Mm.
I love in the fall because you have so many browns to add to the
Yeah.
Yeah.
greens and so much matter, and I'm just like a little kid. It's
I
so
just topped
fun.
up well, not topped up. I just started filling my first compost bin on the leaf and ground site because it's only 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we've been allowed compost bins. The communal area is not working. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I built this beehive one, and I just put some shredded paper in and some cauliflower bits and pieces and stalks and that. It won't be
Mhm.
ready till May next year now, at least. So
Well, you've got the advantage. You probably can get it to keep going all through the winter.
yeah, it's not. What I need is a big bulk to go in there. I haven't got the big bulk because I've been chucking it away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all changed now. I've got a little polystyrene tub behind me with all my trimmings in that used to go in the worm bin. So the worms are going to suffer a little bit, but yeah,
Now, what do you do with your worm bin?
I just scatter it everywhere on the allotment. I don't do anything special. I don't use it for compost or sowing in pots. I just chuck it everywhere. Just to
The
spread the wealth, you know.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you take the
digestate or whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
I was trying to come up with a reasonable term. So you just take that and spread it wherever.
yeah, yeah. And I
Okay.
don't say the liquid either. I don't like the smell of the liquid, the liquor.
Yeah.
So that just drains out the bottom, and I've got a very rich part of the garden. And
There
Mhm.
you grow anything in there.
I used to have them in my kitchen. People thought I was kind of weird when they came over. What's
Yeah.
that, Robin? It's worms.
Sucker.
Doesn't everybody have them in their kitchen?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we pay people not to get them
Oh,
in their
lovely.
kitchen.
So look at those snaps. They have come back to,
Yeah.
you know, and I've got seeds now. So that's the other thing I'm doing right now, big time, is seed collecting.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
have a minute to do it, right?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. That's what Pauline's just mentioned in the comments there about radish pods. So I'm saving a few of those this year, if the straw bales don't collapse around them. So just to eat, not to
I
grow,
love
but
to
to
eat
eat.
radish pods.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are so good.
they are
Um,
tasty.
Oh my gosh, they're better almost than a radish.
Well, that's what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're easier to keep. It doesn't matter if they dry
Yeah.
that much. Yeah. So, okay, so we were going to talk about putting to bed, but I'm thinking you do probably the most, Robin, on putting things to bed. Yeah. Speaking of Snap, we'll go back to putting them to bed, but I have 3 snapdragons that made it. 3.
Yay!
1, 2, 3. My best snapdragon year ever. I have 3 of them, and they're blooming still
Yay!
because of this crazy weather.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want an entire bed of those if I could.
So, I put these out to remind myself. This is the other things I do right now. All of these plant labels. I mean, I don't go nuts cleaning them. I just get the worst of it off. And then I organize them with little rubber bands so I can reuse them. And that's another thing I'm doing right now. I've got
I
a
use
ton of them.
methylated spirits on mine to wipe mine. It comes off that
You-
easy then. Because
I do.
I use an oil-based marker. One of these. No advertising. It's called a Uniball PNA 125, and
Mhm.
it's oil-based. And honestly, the ink lasts for 5 years on a label. It doesn't wear off. It doesn't bleach in the sun or anything.
Mine is called the garden marker, and see,
Yeah.
it lasts really well. And
Yeah.
I honestly, I mean, I grow most of this stuff over again, so I just use the same label
Well, that's
over
even
again.
more economical, isn't it?
Well, yeah, you just have to be organized and put all
Yeah,
of
yeah.
your bean labels together and your tomato level.
Oh no, I can't grow those. I've lost the label.
Sometimes when you're going through the labels, it reminds you,
Yeah.
oh, I need to put those in.
Have you not found that the birds pull them out?
I hear that all the time with the
Oh.
UK gardeners, but mine never get pulled out.
Oh, mine get pulled out all the time.
Oh man, that would be such a bummer.
That's why I went to paint sticks. I use those sticks that you stir paint cans with,
Yeah.
and I write with paint markers. But the problem is they, after being in the ground for the year, they're pretty well done.
Yeah,
So
they
I
rot
just
away, don't they? Lollipop sticks is the other one. I had some here just now, but popsicle sticks.
yeah, but if they're small like that, the birds pull them up like.
We're okay here
wow.
because my worst bird is pigeons, and they're stupid. They can't read, so they walk straight past them. Yeah.
Yeah, but the white, if it was a white tag particularly, they just pull them right out. I don't know if they think it's a nice little um, tender leaf that's coming up or what it is, but they just pull. I'll go out there, the
Yeah.
entire bed, they're all just laying there,
Yeah.
and I think,
This was
a blind.
a blind,
Yeah.
and it worked so well. Um, it and then I
Did
could
you know?
cut it.
Here's a story for you now about Venetian blinds. Did you know that the inventor of the Venetian blind got nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize? Because if it
Oh.
wasn't for him, it'd be curtains for all of us.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
Okay, that's a definite dad joke right
I'll
there.
We're
get me
30
coat.
minutes in.
I'm here all day, guys.
I know that is a serious dad joke.
Oh, dear. A lot of people do use the Venetian blinds, though. I know Terry's a big fan of them. Terry King, he's a big fan of them because he gets some. He finds a load of them dumped at the side of the road, and that were in his job. So he endless supply
He's
of
the
free
most
markers. You know.
inventive
Yeah.
dude on how to do everything like
On a budget, yeah.
A budget,
big
yeah.
time. Big
Yeah.
time.
Well, the Venetian blinds or the mini blinds are great because you can make smaller labels too.
Yeah.
Because when you have in the spring the little plastic domes on top of your cells, and you need a label that's shorter, and it's hard here, at least it's hard to find those little shorty labels. So I make my own now.
The only reason I
Fabulous.
use professional labels, I've lost them all, is because they're supplied with seeds or something like that. I won't go out and buy them on purpose.
Okay.
And there's no need. The biggest thing I do use, especially on pots and that, is just marking tape, electrician's tape, yellow or green, and write on it with those markers, because I lose the labels. And if a squirrel knocks a label out, I've got no idea what's in that pot. But if it's stuck on the side, I know what it is.
Yeah, I try to do that with my seedlings.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I don't want to do 2 tags. Otherwise, I've got the little short one in the house, and then I've got to do my paint.
Yeah.
My paint store. Sorry,
Paint one
It does
outside.
catch me out now and again, though, when I forget to take the old label off, and there's 2 labels, one each side of the pot. Oh no! I've got to wait till it grows to find out what it is.
Now, do you use like a painter's tape, or what kind of tape
It's some
do you
electrician's
prefer?
tape, the one they use to wrap up cable.
Okay.
Electrician insulating tape. Insulating tape is called.
And that's your favorite?
Favorite? Yeah, I used to have it all around. Oh, here we are. Just 1/2-inch tape.
Okay.
It's got an end on it somewhere. Yeah, and just write on it.
Yeah, painter's tape works too. But I actually got some hot pink electrical tape, because I think I saw Muddy Boots was using it, and he's colorblind, so he does the
That's
yellow.
exactly where I got it from. I got it from Nigel 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got some hot pink electrical tape because I
Yeah.
thought I don't need yellow, or I'm not colorblind, so I'm gonna go for the one I think is fun.
There's a good idea. I mean, grey can get hidden in the greenhouse, but bright pink or bright yellow sticks out like a
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are our plans for we thought we might talk a little bit too about plans for next year. Any big new thoughts?
Well, Elle is trying to convince me that we need to redo one of the beds. Let me find a picture of it here. This one. This is my oldest bed. It's cinder block. You can see it kind of, comes apart every year, and we have to, squidge it back in together. He's wanting to, make it look nicer. So maybe metal beds, birdie beds, something like that.
Yeah, the birdie beds are very good. I've got 8 of them now, so they are good. They're guaranteed for 10 years, so they'll outlive me. You know what I mean?
Let's hope not.
Yeah, I got some new ones. Well, I got 6 new ones that aren't birdies. They're about, I don't know, quarter of the price. And I made a mistake. My Birdie's beds are 300 millimeters, which is what, a foot. The new ones are 450, 18 inches. And I miscalculated. I need to buy nearly 9,000 litres of compost to top them up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of compost. So I've got my fingers in a few pies. I've got a few contacts, you know, so I'll be getting some compost. But I will be using old soil in the base, old bits of wood, it's not going to be a Fergal culture bed. It's going to be just bits and pieces chucked in the base with decent compost on top, the top 6 or 9 inches or so, you know.
That's what we did in the raised
Yeah.
beds was,
Yeah.
you know, old sod, whatever we had in the yard first.
Yep.
That's what I'll do. And
Because
we've got
that was a huge.
surprisingly, a friend of mine, Heidi, she's sourced a farmer who can, now this is going to sound daft, sell us well-rotted manure. Now everyone says you can go and get well-rotted manure anywhere and they'll give it you free. They're glad to get rid of it. Well, not round here. They're not. They don't want. He's bringing over a massive big trailer load for 8 barrows. 8 barrow loads is £10. And
Oh,
and his
wow.
trailer has got a little conveyor built into it that extends, and as the muck gets pushed back towards the tractor, it dumps it into your wheelbarrow for you. So he's bringing it on Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'll be getting that. So I got 16 barrow loads coming. So
Now,
that's first time for me. I've used horse manure before that I bought from the side of the road, and I have never grown so much grass in my life. You know, it wasn't well rotted as promised, but cow manure should be all right and he says it's well rotted 2 to 3 years. So
the
yeah.
amino perylate is a big problem here.
Yeah.
So even my little place here in town where I get the certified organic leaf mold, I asked him about the manure. I said, "Is that also certified?" And he said, "No."
And the thing is here, Robin, is in the UK, aminopyralids were banned up until 2011. They were allowed, then banned, then brought back again. It was 2011, maybe a bit later. But they've been relabeled on the packets now, and it's a health and safety executive directive, so it's law, that any manure with aminopyralid has been used on the fields, or the straw, or anything, or the horse stud, is not allowed to leave that farm or that horse stud. It's not allowed to leave.
Okay.
So it does. Oh, corky, it does. I got caught out 3 years ago, with some superstore, big box store, B&Q, their own made compost. All my tomatoes died. And I sent it off to Corteva, the people who make the aminopyralids and clopyralids, and they analysed it. The compost, they said, yeah, it's full of aminopyralids. Whatever was put into this peat-free compost, don't start me on that, this peat-free compost, it's come from a municipal playing field or something where they sprayed to kill dandelions or dock leaves, and it's gone off-site into green waste compost, and I suffered, and I got good results from Corteva, to be honest. I learned a lot, but it is illegal is a bit of a strong word. It's against the law to leave the farm. But how many farmers are going to not let it leave the farm? You know, they got this trailer load coming on Saturday is, well, I don't know. I can work it out. It's got to be 120 quid's worth, all for the sake of a 5-minute drive. So you know, $150, $160. You know, all for the sake of driving from his farm. And my friend knows him. I know he hasn't used aminopyralids. But,
How about you, Audrey? You've used manure before, right?
yeah, but I buy it in bags, composted,
Okay.
and I've had no problems with that. We actually have a hunt club very close to us, a horse club, I guess you call it. But they sell their manure.
Okay.
So not to locals. They I think they sell it to companies. Because I think
Okay.
everybody's like on the train now, like, wait a minute, why was I giving this stuff away?
yeah,
People, like there's a consumer that will pay for this.
that's
Mhm.
exactly the same with wood chip around here as well,
Yeah.
Audrey.
You just
Wood
can't.
chip is going to biomass boilers, the
Right.
decent wood chip, not the ones with all the leaves in it. You know, so it's hard to get free now.
Yeah. No, they're catching on that there's a market
Yeah.
for it.
Where there's muck, there's brass. Bag 'em.
Now,
Yeah,
do you guys use coffee grounds much?
yeah, yeah.
Well, we drink more tea, so I have a compost bin going all the time in the kitchen, and it really fires up the compost well.
Hmm.
The coffee or the tea?
Well, we used to drink coffee, but most of the time now it's tea leaves. But
Okay.
it works the same.
Okay.
All the coffee places around here give the tea back, the coffee grinds away free.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's why I was wondering. I've never really used them in my garden,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
thought, well, that's one free resource I know we have.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
my girlfriend used to own the place here in town, and so I would just drop off a 5-gallon bucket and she'd fill it up. I'd pick it up at the
well,
end of the
that's what they
day.
told us. That's what they told us to do. Just drop off a bucket.
Yeah.
We'll fill it up and bring
Yeah.
another bucket, and we'll just keep filling them up.
Well,
Well,
that's pretty
my
fab.
Yeah.
my allotment sites are on a garden centre with a barista, and they give the grounds away for free. You know.
Oh,
Well,
that's
that's a
handy.
nice.
You don't have to walk far.
Yeah. Well, they used to dump it onto a vacant plot at one point. Great big mounds of it, wheelbarrows load at a time. But someone's taken the plot on now, so we have to go and get it ourselves, for heaven's sake, you know.
Oh my goodness.
No one said gardening was easy, you know.
It does it makes your compost pile smell really
It
good
does,
for a
yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
while.
It's supposed to be, and you can't advertise this because it's not allowed to be marketed as a slug repellent, but it's supposed to be, but only if there's a bit of caffeine left in it. If it's been if the caffeine's gone, then it's just a bit of brown stuff, you know. If it's got a bit of caffeine left, it's supposed to be a slug repellent.
I'm sure there's always going to be a trace amount of
I
caffeine
think so.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't matter if it's not; it's still going to add to the organic mass of your soil, you know. Yeah.
Now, Steve, you said you're getting, or you have now this new double wide plot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for that?
Well, I got these 6 beds to go on. I'm thinking I can't decide between 30 or 40 straw bales yet. So it's 30 or 40 straw bales
Okay.
and a pond. And I've already done this soft fruit area with raspberries, things like that, you know, white currants, black currants. I've done a hard fruit area with smallish patio plum trees, apple trees, cherry trees. I've done all that. And I've got a little bit more to do, but one thing I've got to do, which I've got written down to remind me, was blueberries. I've got to move my blueberries down. They're in 6 pots on my plot, which is a little bit higher up the hill. I'm bringing those down to put in one big raised bed, and that can be filled with proper ericaceous compost. And I won't have to water each pot differently with a little bit of water, vinegar in it or acetic acid. You know,
Okay.
because our water is very alkali. We live in limestone hills, and it's all very, very alkali. Not very. It's well over pH 7. Put it that way.
Right.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you know, I have to add a little bit of vinegar to my water, and so once I've got it in a big bed, I can leave my pot of vinegar by the side and just put a capful in the watering can every time. You know,
Yeah.
I've got that to do, and a pond. I make a nice pond. I want to make a nice wildlife pond. But again, it's so defeatist. But there's no great rush because I want to get it done in spring. I don't want to make a pond now, have to leave it 3 or 4 weeks because I haven't dug it deep enough, and then the hole, because it's on clay, is full
Yeah.
of water, and I've got to get the water out before I can dig more and get the liner in. So you know, yeah. And I've got
So
loads to
even though
do.
you have clay, you think you're going to line it?
Yes, just in
Okay.
case, because you know what'll happen, Robin? We'll get that dry summer, and what pond?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bound to happen, you know. It's
And
quite funny, really. I mean,
crack too, right? So
yeah,
when it gets real dry, so all the
yeah.
water's just gonna.
That's it. Yeah.
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 Um.
Yeah. And I've actually called my bottom plot, the new plot, the frog and toad plot, because I've found so many frogs and toads on it. No newts yet. I want to get some newts. That'd be nice. And hopefully they are on the allotment site, newts. I just love to get them in my little bit of a.
It sounds like a
pond.
witch's brew.
I know.
I always think of that when I hear newt.
Yeah. I have
They're
newt.
always in their brews. Yeah.
Ear of toad.
Yes.
So Audrey, you have those new blackberry arches being built. Are you doing anything
Right.
else new?
No, we're doing a lot of repair over
Okay.
the. I told Kevin just the other night, sweet potatoes are out. It's good to go. So you can. We have some very tall beds,
Mm-hmm.
like 34, 36 inches high.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, at the corners, these babies are splitting. They're not taking the freeze thaw thing real well. So he's going to dig them out. He puts rods in between, like through both sides of the bed.
Okay.
But you have to kind of empty it because you can't jam a rod through. I mean, they're 4 feet wide.
Okay.
What are the sides made of, Audrey?
Two 2x8s.
Okay.
It's treated lumber.
No, I
But
was thinking maybe, a bit awkward now, maybe, but drill a hole in the side and poke a big load of screwed bar through and then nuts on either end to pull it together.
that's what he's doing.
Oh, so there we
That's
are.
exactly what he's doing.
Great
Problem
minds
is
think
there's
alike.
so much dirt, and
Yeah,
we did the same thing when we filled them. We
yeah,
took a tree down because it needed to be taken down. So there's all those logs and all of it at the bottom. So you don't really know where when you're, so he anyway has to dig it through.
yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of what's happening over the winter is, and these metal beds did not come out until
Yeah.
after we had done all of this.
Yeah.
Because I would have just gone metal bed. Like, it's kind of hard to wreck that.
I would have put another stone bed in like that matches the nice stone, but our guy retired. How dare he?
On
And I
your
just don't.
your cinder block beds, Robbie, can't you get those ones that interlock? If you were to build
Not
a new one.
cinder block. We don't have any interlocking here.
No, I've seen them. I've seen a few videos where in America, these ones they're building retaining walls. Someone's bought a cabin in the woods and it's on a
Right.
slope going down to the river,
Uh-huh.
and they've dug back and they've bought these blocks that are all almost what you call them, tongue and groove. They
Right.
fit
Yeah.
together. One fits to the next, fits to the next, and they're great big blocks.
Yeah.
And the ones he had on a curve, so it made it lovely.
Yeah, they make they make those in curves because I've got them around all the
Okay, yeah,
trees.
yeah,
But they don't make them for, a straightaway.
yeah.
I suppose if we made a big circle there, we could do that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Huh.
You know what? The little metal beds are sounding like I want to grow old with them a little bit better.
I mentioned I got this manure. Got this manure coming Saturday. Sorry, and one of the things I've done to make room for it, because he may just dump it all for me without having to use the wheelbarrow. There was a pallet collar bed there from the previous tenant, and I moved it, and I had to really get a spade underneath to lift it. There was no soil in it, just a pallet collar sat there. But it's only been there 2 years, and it is totally rotten. The bottom 4 inches on 2 sides have disappeared. There is no wood. It's disappeared in 2 years. So I think I'm never going to use untreated wood again. I'm not going to use it myself anyway. So metal beds or whatever, proper treated wood. Never pallet collars again.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's okay
of
if you're
work.
doing temporary structures, I suppose, but I'm getting to the stage now. I want to do it and then do one job and do it well, and that's it, done.
Right.
That's why I think I'll do the gravel again, because we've got gravel, the pea gravel between the 2 kidney-shaped beds and the circle in the center, and it just works out so well. So I think we'll put the pea gravel down and then put metal beds. I don't know. It's Al's thing. He wants to change it. I just want to grow. So as long as there's grow space when it's done, I'm cool.
Space for you to grow in. Absolutely.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So I think that's it. And then looking through seed catalogs and eye candy, right?
Oh, I got my first one.
You have. I don't think I've gotten one. Oh, I did.
I do.
I got a tomato catalog. Pine tree. I like them.
It's crazy. I've never gotten it this early.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my big Baker Creek Bible to show up.
I got a parcel from Ali.
Another one? You have been
She's
a
blessed.
good boy
She
this
sends me a
year.
lot. She sends me a lot of seeds to grow for the charity. Look, so
Oh, for the charity,
Yeah.
yeah.
How does she get those through?
don't know.
I still want to know.
Last time, yeah.
Yeah, I'm frustrated. So I'm thinking I'm going to take a whole suitcase of them on the boat when I come over. No, I don't. I bet I don't
Yeah.
know how customs is still. We still got to go through customs. So
Well, the customs, I don't know really. I know we're not as strict as places. I know Canada and America were bad with black currants and things like that, and Australia and New Zealand are very strict. Japan is very strict because they got indigenous crops they don't want to lose.
right.
But you think now that so much has come into the UK from all over Europe, you can drive a car in without even being searched from Europe. Or until Brexit, you didn't even get stopped in the Channel Tunnel. You could bring
Wow.
anything you want in. So anything that's here is here to stay. I mean, heaven forbid, there's more pests to come. A lot of our diseases and pests now are brought in from Europe. They haven't blown in; they've been brought in.
But do you think? See, I don't think seeds in and of themselves would. I mean, that's not bringing in a pest.
No, it's not bringing in a pest, but things like, say, the Himalayan balsam, it can overrun riverbanks and wipe out the indigenous wildlife, and then kill the fish and the whatever, the otters or whatever.
I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
Just do the card thing, Audrey.
I have
a couple of packs at a time.
Yeah.
With an international stamp.
Yeah, no, I've done the cards. Birthday cards. So in case they even scanned it, it would look like a birthday card because it is.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be my project over the winter, is to see how many seeds I can get over to the UK. I think I'd have better time sending over freeze-dried goods than I would seeds. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah. When I was in the Navy, we had to every time a ship came to America, all of our freezers were locked by USDA. They were locked because we weren't allowed to bring beef ashore. So all of our freezers were locked with a seal, and the seal was inspected before we left port again. They were that strict on beef.
So this is about 17 years ago or so, when we were in the UK and we were in Scotland. We brought back cans of haggis.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I like it.
Totally banned haggis.
So when it came to the US, they said no go, and they confiscated it here at O'Hare, and I'm like, oh crud. And then I go to the international section of the local big grocery store a couple towns over. What do I see? The same brand of haggis that I brought back from Scotland sitting there for me to buy. I'm like, alrighty then.
Well, when I do my
think they
cooking
said
video,
it was mad cow was big then at the moment.
it's not just that. I mean, a lot of offal is not allowed in America. So haggis is quite a bit of offal in it, the innards. Black pudding with the blood, I think it's only just been allowed in America, hasn't it? Black pudding. It was banned up until 4 or 5 years ago.
I was able to buy it at the grocery store, but I couldn't bring it in. At O'Hare, they said it was the mad cow or whatever that was going on.
It could be the same as seeds, though, couldn't it? You have to have the proper export license or something, import license.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. So these are blueberries in those white pots there, and it was the best decision that I made because they have done so well, and they've doubled in size. But now I'm kind of afraid of the winter in the pot. What do you think? Should I insulate them somehow? What should I do? Or you think that the blueberries are going to be fine?
No good asking me, because I'm not as cold as you, really.
They go up to zone 3 and I'm 5B.
Mine have been in pots for 4 years, so and they're all right. They're fruiting all right, but I'm sure your extra -10 or something might see them off. I don't know.
Yeah. Any of the US people, Dusty, have you ever done this?
Have you thought about putting them in the ground? The pot. Just bury the
Oh.
pot a little bit, like in some of your empty bed, and then you just clean it off in the spring. I've done that with ones that I'm concerned aren't going to make it.
I've done that with like a little nursery pot size thing, but never a big pot thing.
Yeah, I don't know. How big is your pot? Maybe that's a better
It
question.
it's big. It's probably 16 inches across, I'd say.
Oh, that's a good size pot.
Yeah, they're good size.
Yeah. Maybe.
There's a comparison behind it, a half a whiskey barrel.
Oh, okay. Those are big pots.
Yeah, they narrow down at the bottom, but they're pretty decent size.
Yeah, I think if you wanted, I'm a firm believer at this point in my life. If it's not going to it's like buying clothes. If they need to be ironed, I'm not interested anymore. Like it's permanent press or
Yeah.
it's not, and if a dish can't go in the dishwasher, I don't need that dish.
No.
So I kind of look the same way as things I put in pots. They're not
Okay.
going to make it. Then we got to get a deeper, like
Yeah.
a one that'll take a lower temperature. But you could also put some straw on top of it and maybe wrap it in some burlap or something.
Pine needles would be good as well because it's acidic for the blueberries.
Yeah, that's what Allotment of the Dead is saying too.
Oh, is he? Smart ass. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I love Dusty's comment there. The polar vortex. What's that movie? Oh, it's fantastic. 2012, I can't remember what it's called now. I got to watch that disaster movie with the Earth ice over. Sorry, I was on the sidetracked.
So Dusty's talking about the polar vortex that we had here a few years ago. And so that was 3 days of like minus 40.
Oh, it was horrible.
Which,
it was horrible.
Freezing for us is 32. So minus 40 is
it's like minus 200 cold. For the UK. I think.
It is cold.
It is.
And
like you can't go out in that.
I didn't have any worse die-off of plants than any other
year.
The day after tomorrow, that's the
film. The day after tomorrow, that's the film.
Day after tomorrow, okay. Yeah.
Oh. Let's talk about haggis. Let's talk about haggis. Do you know haggis have only got 3 legs? They got 2 long legs and 1 short leg, and because they live on sides of hills, and to stay upright, their short leg is up the hill and the 2 long legs are down the hill. So if you ever want to catch one, all you've got to do is go in front of the haggis and go boo, and they turn around and roll down your hill. And your mate catches them in a big net. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know what to say to that. Yeah. I have witnessed haggis being made in my own home growing up.
My kids believe me.
Oh,
same as a spaghetti tree,
In the marshmallow.
My grandma was making it one day in the kitchen, and my dad came home from work, and my parents were Scottish. So grandma was really Scottish. And he walked, and my dad was to have your mother-in-law live with you for a long time. I mean, he was really good with her. And he walked into the house and said, what are you cooking, Annie? And she said, oh, haggis. And he's like, never again in this home. Into that smell.
You know that smell is your most evocative sense, isn't it? Smell is the one that takes you back to every memory you've ever had. And to me, to this day, it is my dad, when I come home from school and he's cooking or boiling pig's trotters on the stove. Oh my word, that smell. If I ever get a little whiff of something like that, all I can think of is Dad boiling pig's trotters. They stink. They absolutely stink. It's worse than Collard's greens, Oh, it's horrible, horrible.
Oh, and my dad would make beer and cook in the hops and all that. That is not a pleasant
Yeah.
smell.
Yeah.
Well, the haggis was the smell that put my dad over the edge. So, needless to say, we didn't have haggis growing up. So,
Yeah.
I had it in Scotland because we were there, but not my thing. It's probably
So
like
when
to you.
you come over this time, then maybe ask before you come here if you can bring it back.
Well, I can buy it at the international store, so
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But there's nothing like a fresh one and there's proper Scottish butchers, is it? You know, it's
We used to go to Canada for a Scottish butcher, and we could bring all of that over
yeah.
to United States, no problem. Black pudding and Scottish pies and meat
Yeah.
pies and blah blah blah, all that stuff. Got it, no problem. But that was a few years ago
yeah.
when yeah, that was a few years ago. Things are a little
Yeah.
different than they used to, right?
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
we are at an hour of
Time flies.
garden blather. Maybe that's a good name for this little program, garden blather.
Garden.
Wow, where did I get that word? That's from my past. See, we're talking about haggis, and now it's all coming back. So anyway, hey, you wonderful people in the chat. I can't wait to come back. When this goes onto YouTube, it takes about a day. I don't know why for the chat to come through,
Yeah.
but I always go through it and read everybody's comments. And I
I do as well. It's hard to reply to some of them because they're out of context.
right.
You know, like I can't think. Well, you know, Jason, a lot of my dad's saying dead slugs smell, but by the time we comment on that in 2 days' time, it's gone,
Right.
really, hasn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I was
I'm sorry, Dusty saying about Limburger cheese. Oh, I remember my dad and the uncles with Limburger cheese. Whoa, that is a stinky cheese.
I got a few pairs of socks like that, actually.
They probably smell better than Limburger.
Probably do. Which
so I
brings us back to ironing, so I'm never going to iron my socks again, you know.
The only thing I think is worth ironing is a sheet. I won't do it, but I love when I go places where they iron the sheets.
Yeah.
It's like butter.
It's
nice.
okay having an iron sheet for 39 seconds until it's all screwed up around you, like, you know. It's
Well, that's true. It's
yeah.
It's nice when you first get in. Okay, so I had a question for the chat. I was wondering if we want to do a book over winter, like we'll all read the same book, which obviously will be about gardening.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you don't like sci-fi, you two, you know.
Yeah, no, we'll do a gardening book. But I wondered if that might be something that would be fun, and we could just talk about it.
We could have a chat offline about which book then, because
yeah. So anyway, I just thought that might be something different to do for the winter, because we're always looking to scratch that itch if we can.
Yeah.
So that sounds interesting.
Have a look at Chris's comment then. I had a dog with no nose. How did he smell? Terrible. Love it. The old ones are the best. Morecambe and Wise classics. Morecambe and Wise.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, you let me know if you think a book thing might be fun.
Sure.
And I'll make sure maybe it's one that also is available on Audible if you don't like to read necessarily. Yeah. So thank you so much, Steve. You're always fun to have on. And I like moaning at all your dad jokes. And your haggis, which I'm going to have to re-listen to that.
When I used to work, when I was a manager, my team would say, "Oh no, we've got a new member. He's going to tell all of his jokes over again."
They should just be in your manual, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and Robin, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, I like your little people on your shirt. I just saw that.
Oh, I brought those back from Guatemala.
How cute.
I
Very
was trying to
cute.
find a picture of my bird of prey, but I can't find one quick.
Uh,
You
Okay.
have to watch my video.
you have to watch
Yeah.
the video. Good advert. Good advert. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you all so much. Same time, we might have a new guest next week. Still kind of trying to figure out the logistics of that. If not, it's just good old me again. So we'll see you same time, same place. Bye now.
Okay.
Have a great week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Nice chatting with you.